The festive and gift-giving season is nearly upon us, and for those who sew, it can be a nightmare. We have weeks before the big day and presents need to be made, so join me in the next few weeks as I give you crash courses in how to make festive decorations. We've got more traditional ones and we've got less traditional ones. We're going to start off strong today with a sardine tin, which is always festive, and we'll see how we go, and then we'll resume puppets in the new year. So let's crack on with our sardine tin. So as you might be able to see, it's been a little bit chaotic here because the countdown has begun. I make gifts for people every year because it's cheaper, though it does mean that my time is taken completely. I will sit here from dawn till dusk, sewing relentlessly, and I'm sure some of you are the same. So I wanted to give you the tools to make decorations yourself if you've never made any before, or if you do make decorations and you're stuck for some ideas. And we're going to start off strong today with a sardine tin. It's quite fashionable nowadays to decorate your tree with different things that have no relation to Christmas. So I thought a sardine tin would be a really cute place to start. I also don't use these hangings and decorations exclusively for Christmas. I have them hanging up all over the house, and I think they're kind of universal if you don't specify them to the day of festivities. So we're going to start with a sardine tin today. Here's one I made earlier. I was testing out how to make this and figuring out the inner workings, and this is what I came up with. This is kind of, I would say, a rough draft. I've kind of gone with like a relaxed rectangular shape here, so you can see that it's essentially a rectangle with some curved edges, and then we've got a little thing over the top to give it a wall, and then a thing here as the flappy bit. But the problem I'm having with this is it's a bit squishy and it's not really retaining its strength, so I think I'm going to have to put something in the wall to make it a bit stronger. I make a mixture of 2D and 3D decorations, and when you make 3D decorations, it's kind of up to you to break down what you're going to make into a series of shapes. So you can see that we've got this relaxed oval, that is the tin, and then we've kind of got like a long strip that I cut. I didn't have measurements for it, so I just cut a long strip and cut it where was appropriate. And then you kind of just repeat that circular rectangle on the top here and roll this bit of felt back, and then you draw a fish. It's that simple, and we're going to get started. Before we do though, a quick disclaimer. I use a mixture of very professional and incredibly unprofessional methods when sewing of any kind. If you see something here today that works for you, that's fantastic, but if you see something that you just can't stand, that's completely fine. This is just how I chaotically make mine. With that said, we're going to get started. I'll put him to one side. Also, just before we start, I would like to draw your attention to this box here. So this box is full of crap, but this crap is incredibly important. I don't like to waste my fabric of any kind. With everything going on in the world, I certainly don't want to be contributing to fabric waste. So I want to get my money's worth, and I want to be eco-conscious, which is why I've got this big box here full of absolutely everything. Every single offcut, every single spare bit of fabric I have ever had has gone in here, and if you cut it down really small, you get a natural stuffing, which is really amazing. It's cost effective and just morally good, so do that. The reason I've got this box out today is because our project next week is going to require some offcuts. So any offcuts you get from today, put them in a box, keep them to one side, and we'll use them next week, I promise. I've gone ahead and I've had a little think about how it would be best to make a sardine tin as per my example. So you are going to need 3 of these rectangles cut out, one for the middle to give it structure, one for the front, and one for the back of the tin. So we've got the back of the tin, the front of the tin, and the middle part. You're also going to need another one, so I'll say 4. You might need 4 of them. This is for that rolly bit at the front that's going to make the front of the sardine can here. Then you're kind of just going to get a long strip of felt and hope for the best. Hope that it's long enough, and then cut it appropriately as we sew it on. And to give that a little bit of structure inside, I've got this one that I'm also going to sew onto it, so as it bends around, it gives it a little bit more structure than if it was to be on its own. And then you're going to need the little handle thing that you twist to get the sardine can open, which is this. I haven't made it yet, but I've cut out this pattern that kind of looks like one of those things. So these are the bits we're going to need, and then any piece of decoration you would like. I want it to have some structural integrity, but I also want it to look amazing and very glittery for the festive season. So I've got this brilliant accumulation of incredibly cheap glitter felt. It's got glitter on one side and it's got felt on the other, so it's kind of like a cardboardy, thicker fabric, and it just gives it a little bit of rigidity whilst also looking brilliantly glittery and amazing. So I've got this and I'm going to use it to give me some structure. You could also, if you weren't going to use glitter paper, just kind of put some cardboard in the middle to give it a little bit of the colour that I've chosen the sardine tin to be is this lovely mint green that we used here for lovely Clive's icing up here, and we have, if you can see, absolutely tons of it, and I've got to use it soon. And because I wanted a long strip around the side with minimal breakages, I wanted to use a bit of felt that I had a lot of so that I didn't have to add any on and you wouldn't get more seam lines than necessary. So I've picked this lovely mint green here, but that is going to go in the middle as a little bit of structural support. And then for the bottom of our tin, I've got this lovely green to match it. But on the inside, I kind of wanted like a fun metallic moment, so I went with this gold. So you're going to get the gold on the inside of the tin, felt in the middle to keep it secure, and then this green on the outside. And you can see how strong structurally that's going to be with 3 nice layers. That's going to be really good. So step 1 is to decorate the back, because it's important we do that first so that when we connect all of these bits together, we can hide your work. So I'm going to decorate this first, and then I'm going to start sewing this together. And once I've done that, I shall rejoin you. Okay, so I've nearly finished decorating my back and sewing it together. You might notice that I succumbed to a little bit of red as well as my fish. I just thought having a little border around it at the back looks really cool. And in my tester one, I kind of did the same thing and I think it looks really sweet. So that is why I did that. And as I'm going around here, you might see me using a different stitch than usual. And I want to take you through it a little bit. So this here is called a blanket stitch. If you wanted it to look neater like it does in those Pinterest photos of felt decorations, then I would use a thicker thread. The way that we're going to make the blanket stitch is really easy. I'm going to bring my needle through my felt here and pull it all the way, and just as we kind of get to that end point, I'm going to bring my needle through this loop here. You see this loop that we've made for the stitch? I'm just going to bring my needle back through that and pull the string all the way, and that is that, literally that simple. And then I'm going to just do it again and carry on as I go. And once that loop's kind of small, I'm going to bring my needle through, and there you have it. You get a lovely little blanket stitch. The only reason it looks quite thin and flimsy is because the string I'm using is quite thin and flimsy. I'm not neat in any way, but this is what a blanket stitch is, and it's kind of like a really nice ornate stitch if you wanted to add a little bit of care and festivity to your work. All right, and just like that, we've got the base of our tin. It's looking structurally sound. It's not wobbling about. It's not bending. It's perfectly fine. And that little extra layer of red is really going to help with that rigidity, which is what it's all about. The next step is to start connecting this to the edges, and the way we're going to do that is lay it around the edge. We're going to have a seam no matter what where this joins up, and I reckon that's going to just be about the right size. You could hot glue it. If you're not a fan of sewing, you could hot glue any of these things together. It's a bit fiddly, but it's kind of just a case of holding it all the way down as you go and sewing it on. And you can see this line of 3 bits of felt that we've got here. I'm just going to cover that up and connect this line here with this bottom green piece. As we go, it'll become easier because once it starts to get stuck, it's not going to wobble around as much. And I shall rejoin you once I reach the end. I have gone all the way around the edge with a lovely blanket stitch, and I'm just sewing up the side now. So you can see that I've overlapped it slightly where we've got a bit of excess length, and I'm just stitching that up in a nice straight line. The key words for today are structure and rigidity, and that is what we're going to try and provide this tin. But before we do that, I want to put in the hanging part because I kind of want those little knots on the inside to be hidden. So I'm going to put it in now and then hide it with the other layer that we're going to put in here so that you won't see my knottage. So I've got just some kind of wool here. It's red with little sparkles in it, and I thought that would be really nice and festive, and it would go with the front of the tin that we're going to aim for. And I'm going to fold it into 3 as equal as I can strips, and then I'm going to cut this loop here at the other side away, so we've got 3 strands, and I'm going to just do a simple plait, in and out, weaving all the way down the string. And I do this for decoration, vibes, and also strength, so that it can hang appropriately. And if it was just one strand of string, I would worry that it would come apart. So I plait it just to keep it a bit more thick. The reason it's in my mouth is so that I can keep it tight. That could do. Okay, so we'll tie it off there, and I'm gonna get my big boy thick darning needle that we know and love, and I'm gonna put all of this thread through here, and I'm gonna basically just try and pierce the top. There we go. Bring that up like this, and then you've got that one knot holding this in, and then I'm just going to bring it back down, and now that's through, I'm just going to tie an extra little knot in it just because I know that my knot that I did will currently fit through the hole. And here we have our hanging all ready to go, and this bit is going to be hidden by the strip that we're going to add. But before we add the strip, I'm going to add this bit on the front. I kind of want to attach it kind of like a quarter of the way up so that we can roll it. So if I roll it here now, I kind of want it to sit like this. So I'm going to get my thread again, and because I need to sew it in its roll, now's the time to start rolling it all the way down. You see here how we've got this bit and this bit. I'm just going to go in between here so I can hide my knot to start with, so that that's going to be well hidden. And then I'm going to go back through so that you're not going to be able to see a visible stitch of the curl, so that it looks a bit more natural. And now I've done that, I'm going to begin by attaching it to the side of our tin, and we're just going to begin stitching a nice little blanket stitch once again, because I'm kind of fond of it. It's kind of like my new trick. And I'm going all the way down, and the aim is to kind of rinse and repeat this all the way around. I have sewn, using our lovely blanket stitch, this little tin can cover here. I've also made this from silver glitter felt paper, which is that little like sort of tin thing that sits in there. So I'm going to attach that in a minute, but first I'm going to give it a little bit more structure inside, and for that I've got a lovely strip of glitter paper here. There is glitter everywhere, and I think I'm going to be seeing it for weeks to come. So I'm going to do the best that I can to kind of fit it and slot it inside. We're not going to sew it inside here, so don't worry about that too much. We're only going to sew it around the edges that we can see. So then we've got something that looks like this, and I'm going to hide the knots that we've done for these hanging bits underneath it, so you're not going to see that. And I'm going to blanket stitch once again all the way around the edges here, so that that's secure in place, and then it kind of adopts that shaping that we want it to have. Don't worry about the stuff inside. There's just something about a sardine tin that is so aesthetically pleasing, and it's become so fashionable. I'm not doing it for fashionable reasons. I just love how sardine tins look, and often I just want to buy them. It's just good design. It's that classic vintage design. Oh, it looks so cute. Doesn't it look great already? But now I'm going to attach this little hook thing that we've got for the sardine tin, and I'm going to put it in the loop here and give it a little wiggle just to get it into the point where I'm happy with it. Look at that. That's going to be amazing. So I'm just going to bring my needle through the loop first, and then I'm just going to place it through here as well, just because it's a bit fiddly to do it otherwise. And there we have it. That's inside. So here is what we've got so far. Our little sardine tin is ready to go. We've got the back that looks really cute and the front that looks really cute, and now it's time for the fish. I've done 2 fish already because they are a bit time consuming, and if you let yourself float away into the realms of creativity, you can be there for some time. This one took me a few hours. I kind of lost the plot a little bit, must be said. I just got really into embellishing it. Not being funny, that's amazing. But we've got one more fish to make, and we're going to make that fish together. I've cut out this fish shape that I drew, and it's literally as simple as kind of a little pointed teardrop with some fins at the end. It doesn't have to be anything fancy or specific. Sardines are naturally quite thin and long, I think. So this is what I've got, and I'm going to draw one way and one the other. And with felt, you don't have to leave a seam line, so feel free to cut on the line of the shape that you've drawn. Okay, so we've got 2 sides of our fish here. Now I'm going to put one down for now, and I'm just going to cut a little corner of felt. I kind of want, if you can see here, its head to be yellow and its body to be teal. So I just need that kind of little bit at the end. And I'm just gonna kind of cut around my fish shape so that we've got that loose shape there. And now I'm gonna connect this together using the eyes. So with the eyes, you can see that it's a sequin with a bead in the middle, and that's what I use for my eyes. I've kind of got this kind of Technicolor iridescent sequin because it felt fishy. So this is what we're going to use to connect this yellow bit to its face. So I'm going to bring my needle through, trying to get the center point of that yellow piece that I've made. I'm going to bring it down on my thread here, and then I'm going to peruse through my lovely collection of beads for a big black bead that can sort of work as a pupil. Ignore my bead, but I'm going to go back through my sequin, and as I bring that through, you can see that the bead remains on the top, but the sequin is safely in place, and that's how you make an eye. Very easy, very simple. So now we need to connect these 2 parts together here, and the way that we're going to do that is I'm going to come across with a nice blanket stitch, which we're absolutely now obsessed with, and I'm going to go up into the center line, and then you can hold it to the side and kind of see if we can get them lined up a little bit, just like that. That's perfect. And I'm going to push my needle through, but I'm actually going to bring my needle out over here at the edge, just like that. so that we've got an eye on both sides. How cute. And then we're going to begin by stitching around the edge. If you wanted to add any long-term embellishments or decorations to your fish, now's the time to go absolutely insane and bananas. You can add little bits of fabric to it, you can adorn it with beads, do whatever you feel. But for the purposes of this one, I'm just going to now stitch around the edges so that we can stuff it and see what it looks like. So I've gone around the edges of my fish, but I've left a little gap, and that gap is to stuff it. That's what happened. That gap is to stuff it. So I've got my stuffing here, and I'm just going to get the smallest pieces and roll them together to kind of just make it a little bit tighter. And then I'm going to slowly start to fill my fish. Now, it doesn't need a lot. The thing about a blanket stitch is that it doesn't really keep it together. So if you overstitch it, I'll give you an example. If you overstuff it with a blanket stitch, it's going to start seeping through the edges. Luckily, this little guy is destined for the top, so you're not really going to see that tail very much. Doesn't need a lot, just something like that. That's quite sweet. And now I'm just gonna stitch the rest of it up. Okay, just like that, and we've got our little plain fish, which I think is quite nice because I wanted that teal to really shine through. And when I lost the plot, no teal is to be seen anymore. So it's just nice to have something a bit plainer. But like I say, go nuts, decorate as crazily as you want. You could even embroider and embellish the entire sardine can as well. But now we've got all of our fish together, I'm gonna put it together. Isn't that amazing? There's just something so satisfying about a sardine tin, and to bring it to life is so cool. I think that genuinely looks adorable, and I'm so pleased with it. This is our sardine tin. Every week this week up until Christmas, I'm going to be giving you hardcore lessons into how to sew various decorations, both festive and unfestive, in the lead up, and in the new year we'll get back to puppeting. But thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it and you found it relaxing in any way, please subscribe and ring that bell so that you can be told when we next upload another session. He's amazing, isn't it just so cool? I hope it was easy to follow. Any questions below, do let me know, and I shall see you in the next one. Goodbye.